This is just a quick little update to show you what I've been working on the last 2 months. You may remember that I managed to compile Basic. The more basics, the better. And so I'm writing an IDE, an integrated development environment for it. Now, it's not finished, far from it. But I've got enough to show you what I've been doing. Now, I love writing text editors and IDEs, and I like writing them in BASIC. So, a real purist would have said, I will write my Basic IDE in Basic. But I haven't done that. I'm writing it in YAB, as tool for the job. So here we have it. Now, you open it up and it immediately shows you the basics of a file. Right, and you can save, open, insert. You can transfer this to another editor as well. And it will automatically detect any other editors on your system, and so this may grow. Okay, so there are two things that I want to point out. But first, here's the actual file, and how many lines of code is that? Almost 7,000 lines of code. What on earth? How did I get 7,000 lines of code? But yeah, you can throw up a bare bones text editor in 100 lines. So where did I get 7K locks from? Kilo lines of code. Well, a lot and a lot and a lot of data statements. Why so much? Well, it's this bit. I want you to keep your eye here. So let's start by saying, okay, I need to know more about libraries. Okay. Then you can simply, let me just activate that. Okay, so there's a bit of a description, and there's the commands that you can use. Okay, so you put your own code here, and let's say I want to do an if-then loop, right? So there it is, and now the help will reflect what I've just done. I've also got a lot of subroutines that I've been writing over the years. At the moment they're available in libraries, but I thought let's do something else, right? So I have to be a bit careful here because not everything is already available. Okay, so let's say I want to set the screen brightness. There it is. The command for that is brightness down. There it is. and it actually calls a subroutine. And here again it shows up in the help. It also shows up here, because the other thing that I really like in a IDE is being able to navigate between my code and the subroutines. Right, so I can now click on this and it goes to that subroutine. I can go back to my code. Okay, let's put something else in. Let's see. Let's put in let's see, what have we done already? I don't have Figlet on the system, but otherwise there would be an entry for Figlet. See, that's the way it works. Alright, okay, file exists. That's a useful little magoofterkie, as we call it in South Africa. Alright. Oh, I really should have switched off a different program. Let's see. That is eating up my cycles here. Let me just do that quickly.
I'll be back.
Oh, the joy of working in a VM. Right, so we can go back to your code. We've got an if-then ready to be filled in. And we got a file exists call. Let's put in a label. Okay, so unlike the ones from the menu, it won't show up here automatically until I refresh it. Sorry, I can poll for it, but that just is going to eat up too many cycles. So I can go to this subroutine, and then I can now go back to the label I just put in. Same with if you write your own subroutines. They'll show up there on the right, and you can use them to navigate. So with all those data statements, things are going to use up a fair bit of memory. But yeah, that's I think that's worth it for me, because once your programs get beyond a certain length, then navigation becomes a problem. And I don't really know enough to write a proper folding editor. I don't think you could do that in BASIC, in YAB. Now, one thing else that I want to show you is that, where is it? Here. Look, brightness down. Sorry. Is now checked. What does that mean? It means that I have already put that in my code, right? And now I can just use it. I don't need to put it in there again. Now, this may change. I may gray it out completely if it's already in the code, but not yet. We'll see how that works out. Right, what was the other one? File exists. So there we go. File exists. So if you have dialog, kdialog, or shanty on your system, excuse me, then those will also show up in the menu, because I have written programs for them, but there's no real point if it's not on your system. Right? Same for Figlet and Toilet, which are used to throw big letters on your screen. So that's what I'm working on. It's still at least a month away from even an alpha release. There's whole sections that I haven't written yet. When it's done, it's probably going to be 10,000 lines of code. And as you can see, in a low spec environment like this virtual machine, it is going to be a bit slow. It's not really meant for that. You know, you need a fairly modern machine with a couple of real cores to really make use of this, but well, I'm fine with that. And that is what I've been working on. Right, so anytime you want to see what's going on here, you can just navigate to it. Now, if you're familiar with my other Yab IDE, Yabba-dabba-doo, there I split it into different into different files, which I then later glue back together. I'm using Yabba-dabba-doo to write this, by the way. But here it's all just one file. And of course, eventually, this bit hasn't been written yet, but you'll be able to bind it, run it in a terminal, run it headless, and show some output, which is also probably going to be shown down here again. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. Look at my very unfinished IDE for YaBasic. And when this is finished, it'll be fairly easy for me to rewrite it as a IDE for Bash, for Bacon, or for Gab even, right? Because the basic structure will be there. Okay, that's it. And I hope to be able to tell you that it's finished in a month or so. Take care.